In the late 20th century, the FBI in the United States was investigating a difficult case. But in their hands, they only had a very simple sketch. This man began committing crimes in 1978 and continued until 1995. For 17 years, no one knew his identity and no one knew how he randomly chose his targets. The media gave this elusive attacker the name University and Airline Bomber, and this man continued to carry out his terrorist attacks without restraint. He was behind 16 bombings in total, killing 3 people and injuring 26 others. He was the infamous American terrorist Ted Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber. People called him both a genius and a madman. On February 20th, 1987, at the Comms Computer Services Center in Salt Lake City, there was an explosion. After the blast, police and rescue workers rushed to the scene. The victim, Gary Wright, later recalled the incident. That morning, at 10:25 a.m., he arrived at the site. Gary was one of the company managers. When he parked his car, he noticed something strange next to his secretary's vehicle. It looked like a piece of industrial scrap. Thinking to throw it away, he bent down to pick it up. At that moment, he heard faint ticking. Startled, he quickly dropped it. But it was too late. The bomb exploded. His left arm was badly injured, and nearly 200 fragments were embedded in his body. Police soon confirmed that Gary Wright was the latest victim of the Unabomber. This mysterious terrorist had already carried out multiple attacks across American cities over the past 9 years. He had long been a top target of the FBI. His first attack took place in May 1978 and his last in 1995. The bombs were always sent by mail. Over those years, he committed 16 bombings in total, about one a year. The first explosion was at Northwestern University in Chicago. On May 26, 1978, disguised as an ordinary package, the bomb detonated in the campus security office, injuring several guards. A year later, on May 9, 1979, Northwestern University was attacked again. This time, graduate student John Harris was injured. On November 15, 1979, a bomb was hidden in the cargo hold of American Airlines Flight 444, flying from Chicago to Washington. Mid-air, the bomb ignited, causing fire and heavy smoke. 12 passengers suffered lung injuries. The plane made an emergency landing at Dulles Airport. Fortunately, the bomb wasn't strong enough to bring down the aircraft. By then, police began to suspect the 3 bombings were linked. On June 10, 1980, their suspicions were confirmed. United Airlines President Percy Wood, living in Illinois, received a package. When it exploded, he was gravely injured. Deep cuts and burns nearly killed him. Police now knew a serial bomber was at large. The FBI began its investigation. From the start, investigators faced major difficulties. The bombs were crudely made. Wood, nails, scrap metal. Evidence was scarce. All materials could be bought at any hardware store. Because of this crude style, agents mockingly called him the junkyard bomber. But his bombs kept improving. The explosions grew stronger. Fatalities were inevitable. In May 1982, at Vanderbilt University in Tennessee, a pipe bomb exploded, severely burning a staff member. On July 2, 1982, another bomb at UC Berkeley seriously injured engineering professor Diogenes Angelakos. Then, silence. No attacks. Until May 15, 1985, when UC Berkeley student John Hauser found a package in a computer lab. As he opened it, it exploded. His right hand was blown off. 6 months later, on November 15, 1985, at the University of Michigan, a psychology assistant was badly injured. On December 11, 1985, in Sacramento, computer store owner Hugh Scruton received the Unabomber's 11th bomb. Exploded with massive force, killing him instantly. In this case, police discovered an important clue: 2 letters etched into metal fragments. FC. This became the Unabomber's signature, appearing in later bombs as well. Yet investigators still had no idea who he was. Some even wondered if the attacks were committed by a group, not a single man. On February 20th, 1987, in the Gary Wright bombing, an employee reported seeing someone place the package 25 minutes before it exploded. The man had taken it out of a bag, set it down, then walked away. From the witness's description, police created the first sketch: a white male wearing a hooded sweatshirt and sunglasses. It was the first glimpse of the suspect's face. But even with this sketch, the case remained unsolved. It would take 9 more years before the FBI learned his true identity. Speculation abounded. Some thought he was a businessman, others thought a student, some even guessed a teenager. In reality, he was a highly intelligent, middle-aged mathematician, Theodore John Kaczynski. He was born on May 22, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois, to a working-class family. He had a younger brother. At school, he excelled academically. In 5th grade, an IQ test measured his intelligence at 167. He skipped 2 grades. But as he advanced, he grew more withdrawn. At 16, he entered Harvard University. But as a poor, socially isolated student, he was often excluded and ridiculed. At Harvard, he took part in a secret psychological study later revealed to be linked to the CIA and military intelligence. Students were subjected to intense humiliation and ridicule, especially targeting their intelligence. Kaczynski was one of these test subjects. Many later believed this experiment contributed to his psychological distortion. He graduated from Harvard in 1962, earned his Ph.D. in mathematics at the University of Michigan by age 24, and in 1967 became an assistant professor at UC Berkeley. But he disliked teaching. Students gave him poor ratings. Sometimes he openly mocked their mediocrity. To him, people in modern society were merely tools of industrialization. Killing tools became his idea of rebellion. By 1969, he resigned, left academia, and moved to rural Montana. There he built a small cabin by hand, no electricity, no running water. He tried to escape society. But even so, passing cars and overhead airplanes drove him into rages. He once fired a shotgun at a plane. By 1978, his thinking was clear. If he could not escape industrial society, he would destroy it. At first, his bombs were crude and weak. He improved them after reading news reports about their effects, adjusting his designs each time. He even kept a detailed list of targets and reasons. About one bomb, he wrote, "I hope a student picks it up and it blows off his hands, or kills him." But after the FBI released his sketch in 1987, he stopped for 6 years. Investigators speculated he might have been jailed for another crime or ill. Then in June 1993, the Unabomber reappeared, sending a letter to the New York Times, claiming to be part of a group called FC. On June 22, 1993, Dr. Charles Epstein, a genetics professor at UCSF, was gravely injured when a bomb exploded in his mailbox. On April 24, 1995, a package sent to the California Forestry Association exploded, killing President Gilbert Murray. 17 years of terror. After Murray's death, the Unabomber even wrote letters, taking responsibility. He explained he had intended to kill the association's former president, but had not realized there had been a change. He demanded that the Washington Post or the New York Times publish his manifesto. If they complied, he promised to end his bombings. 2 months later, in September 1995, his 35,000-word essay arrived, titled Industrial Society and Its Future. It warned humanity to abandon industrial technology or face catastrophe. The arguments were chillingly coherent. Professors admitted they were persuasive. The Justice Department debated publication. FBI profilers argued it might draw him out. On September 18, 1995, the Washington Post published the manifesto. Soon, tips flooded in. One was crucial. Linda Patrick, wife of David Kaczynski, recognized the language. She recalled similar phrasing in letters Ted had written. David provided those old letters. The FBI compared them a match. David also gave agents the location of Ted's Montana cabin. On April 3, 1996, armed with a warrant, 150 FBI agents surrounded the cabin. At dawn, forest rangers coaxed Kaczynski outside. He was arrested on the spot. Inside the shack, investigators found bomb parts, journals, and a live device ready to be mailed. After 16 bombings, 26 injuries, and 3 deaths, the Unabomber was finally caught. He was charged with multiple counts of illegal transportation, mailing, and use of bombs. The government sought the death penalty. His lawyers attempted an insanity defense. Kaczynski refused. On January 22, 1998, he was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. To this day, he remains behind bars.